But Eric wasn't easy to get along with. He would yell at people he worked with. You might say he was a complete jerk sometimes. The managers and team allowed this to happen in a large part because he was so productive. I can still see it now when I close my eyes. Eric was a smoker, and he was trying to quit. This made Eric even testier. Eric and Sri were working together on some files when I came walking down a row of cubes, and Eric was in Sri's cube, yelling. You know how people get mad and their veins look like they're going to pop out of their head? Eric's veins were about ready to explode. Then he ran out the door. I guess he needed a smoke. I asked Sri if he was okay. He said he was okay, but that no one should have to put up with him. Sri couldn't have been more correct. Eric was a tyrant who ran around like Darth Vader, intimidating people. We all put up with his terrible treatment just because he was able to code a lot. I would like to tell you that Eric was let go and the team was able to move on. The company did nothing to him. His behavior was left unhandled. Learning how to be a good team player doesn't come naturally to some. Eric wasn't a team player. He was out for himself. If you work with a coding hero and they take vacation, things can fall apart. Let me share a story of a leader who dealt with a similar issue. Now, Ben was a leader that I worked with, and he had a coding hero. We'll call him Dave. Dave would code solutions that were more complex than others could understand. Dave was coming up on a milestone birthday to celebrate. He was biking across multiple states with all his gear. Now, Ben knew this was going to be an issue, so he met with the team and they discussed the challenges. Ben decided to have knowledge transfer sessions or to talk with the team. The team decided to have knowledge transfer sessions with Dave. Ben helped foster this collaboration with the team. This enabled the team to slowly chip away at the knowledge gap, and they became more resilient. At my next stop, I began to master my skills in Java. I was responsible for an application that required me to learn some new technologies. Software development can be a bit like trending song sales on iTunes. One day something's hot, whoosh, the next day it's out of date. During this time in my career, many open source tools became popular. Mastery for Luke Skywalker came after a battle with Darth Vader. Programming is a lot like writing. As the author Stephen Pressfield says, the amateur tweets, the pro works. Professional programmers show up every day and slay small demons. The first skill I needed to master as a developer was debugging. Of course, today the tools are much more mature. One of the first applications I had to debug didn't have any such tools. I was armed with print statements and a log file, quite primitive by today's standards. All right, let's see. How can I find out where that value is being set? All right, let's add a print statement, recompile. Oh, compile error. Add the semicolon, recompile, run the report. Oh, the database isn't set up right. Okay, let me update that table. Updated, run the report, catalog. Now that looks better. Of course, debugging is so much easier today, but we still need to use the old bean. As Steve McConnell points out in his book Code Complete, we need to learn the types of mistakes we make. Early in my Java career, I made the same mistake time and again. I would forget to initialize my variables. I can still hear my coworker Ken laughing at me when he would look at my code and point out my obvious error. We need to take a step back and reflect on how we are doing. How can I improve my coding, debugging, and testing? Software developers like to impress each other. I had to use the singleton pattern to fix that. Don't worry, most developers don't know what that means either. There are many esoteric topics we could talk about for hours. In Essentialism, the Disciplined Pursuit of Less, Greg McKeown shares how important editing is to journalism. Now, the journalists bring the stories and write up the ideas. However, the editor has an important job. They review the piece and rework it. Over my years, I have mentored many developers. One in particular sticks out. He began reading about code basics. This made him add unnecessary code from time to time. I remember debugging an error he was getting together when I asked him, why is this loop here? He looked at me unsure and then said, I don't know. I thought it would help. Whew. He thought it would help. Once we removed his unnecessary loop, we resolved his error. Adding code is easy. Knowing what to keep is hard. Now, it's not that I'm saying computer science basics are not important. We need to master these too. However, if we put our sole focus on them, though, our careers will falter. I spoke before about Eric. He had mastered computer science. His teammates, though, couldn't stand him. We need to be good at our work and get along with our team. If we do just one of these, we aren't doing our job.